Colleagues, guys, fellas, my greetings to you all. Today we are going to share some of our experience in building industry-level cybersecurity operation centers, and maybe after that to share the experience with you, to ask some questions, and to get more knowledge from your side, from your region, about this situation. So all of us knows the defining of SOC, because the hype of SOC centers was about more than 10 years ago, I believe. The main purpose of Security Operations Center is to build the cybersecurity and to protect your organization. It was in the past, and for some previous years, the focus is like moving from cybersecurity to cyber resilience. On that side, the main point is to know more about your infrastructure, is to know more what could happen inside to prevent some incidents. And we believe that the main goal in cyber resilience is to define the non-tolerable events. This is something that could crash your business, that could crash your critical business processes if it will happen, if the non-tolerable event will be executed. So on organization level, non-tolerable events could crash some of your critical business process, could maybe crash your business or hurt you too much. But if we will go up like higher a little bit, on the industry level or on the government level, when we took several different organizations in one industry, for example in transportation industry, and combine different non-tolerable events together, we could get really bad situation, and we could get the like government level non-tolerable events on government level. I believe all of you saw the film like Die Hard Part 5. Yeah, that's a lot of non-tolerable events there. So for the organization, the main task and the main KPI for the cybersecurity is to prevent these non-tolerable events in your organization. But on the government level, when we're talking about integration between different companies, about some processes that are automated by lots of organizations, we are talking about the government level, and this is the task of the government. When we are looking at like cybersecurity, it all starts from the high-level laws, from high-level requirements that first are coming from the federal government. It's like high-level requirements and a list of measures. How can you protect your organization, protect your data? Then we may have on industry level some industry-specific requirements, also on high level. And the end user, I'm talking about the organization itself, gets a lot of requirements and a big choice. What can they do to be compliant with these requirements? How can they protect? Then the end user, the organizations, needs to have more answers for the questions. What should I do? What should I exactly do? And then on government level, on industry level, the cybersecurity functions started to centralize. On government level, we may see that lots of countries has its own government certs. It's an organization. The purpose of what is to collect the cybersecurity incidents data. It's to collect threat intelligence data, to share this data within the organizations. On industry level, different in our country's ministries, his authorities started to think and started to build its own CERT and its own SOC centers. The purpose is what? To enhance the cybersecurity level within the industry. And the end user, the organizations, are getting more detailed requirements, standards and frameworks. How can they apply the standard solutions and the best practice to their infrastructure and to their process? In Russia, our journey started more than 10 years ago, and first launch of government CERT was 10 years ago. The first, it started to collect the incidents data from government organizations, to analyze this data and to create some incidents some IOCs, indicators of compliance, and some bulletins, some reputation lists, to share it with other government organizations and to give some proposals how can they protect themselves. Then, for now, it's quite a big organization for now, our government CERT. They have started to look deep inside the infrastructure. They have started to collect the asset data from first government organization to start threat exposure management processes. They want to prevent non-tolerable events in these organizations. They want to need more about their assets, about their infrastructure, and when they got information about new techniques or tactics of attack or about new critical vulnerabilities, they could highlight these vulnerabilities to the organizations and say that, guys, you need to have a patch, you need to install the patch. About that time, about 10 years ago, we got our first industry CERT. It's started to create the requirements, industry-specific requirements since the beginning, and it includes requirements for the processes and for the technical requirements. And then they add that requirements to the certification process and take a part in audit these organizations to check if they are compliant. And several years ago, I was working in positive technologies with one of industry in Russia, and take a part in building in two industries. Take a part in building enterprise SOC centers. That's the purpose of these centers was at first to protect the government's information systems, and the second to create the standard solutions and give that solutions to other organizations of the industry. Here in United Arab Emirates, there's also different level of requirements. There's federal laws that requires cybersecurity. There's a cybersecurity council who works with the government and creates specific requirements to the whole industry. Here's also a third center, but I have a small amount of lack of information about this center. And talking about moving focus to cyber resilience from cybersecurity, National Emergency and Crisis Management Framework has its own requirements, like to build in the continuous monitoring process to enhance the cybersecurity and to prevent the non-tolerable events. I talked about CERT and SOC. On industry level, the difference is in the process. CERT is more about monitoring, is more about creating some CTI data. It's cybersecurity threat intelligence data. It's to share this data between the organizations. It's to create industry-specific standards and frameworks to give some like ready-to-use solutions to the industry, and to create industry SOC team. SOC itself is on industry level. Is when the government wants to dive into the infrastructure of government organizations, of critical infrastructure, and wants to prevent the execution of non-tolerable events. So here in SOC Center, we are talking about deploying some sensors, maybe deploying some cybersecurity solutions into our industry organizations or key organizations of the industry. We're talking about sharing experience between them. And we're talking about maybe creating some specific industry solutions with the partners. For example, in Russia, we have that experience when we are working with one of our organizations, for example, in transportation industry. Together, we've created the special solution to protect the industrial system who manage the railway processes, some of the processes, and it's still using there. Talking about how can we build the industry SOC center. First of all, we need to deploy the SOC core, which will include, at first phase, as we are starting from creating SOC, which will include solutions to create CTA data and to share this data between the customers. This cert can protect the government critical systems and will have already sensors and the architecture which may be horizontally and vertically scaled to cover in the future, to cover other organizations. Second phase, when we got the core, SOC core, when we got the sensors to protect the SOC itself, to protect some of the government organizations, we are starting to cover other organizations within our industry. We are starting to develop industry-specific standards, to develop some standard solutions to cover that organization. For example, in SOC core, you have 3 vendors, and you are creating some appliance which includes these 3 vendors and these sensors of these 3 vendors, just to plug and play and to connect the infrastructure of the organization to this industry level SOC. And the third phase, when you cover your key organizations within the industry, you will need to enhance the cybersecurity level, to enhance the security awareness, and to to share the knowledge of cybersecurity and to grow your SOC teams. For that purpose, it's good to use cyber ranges or maybe some cyber testings, cyber war games. You may heard about our standoff, and for now on, it's an international event where the red teams and blue teams are testing their skills in the close to real life infrastructure, cloud infrastructure. On the industry level, each ministry, each authority could create similar to life specific cloud infrastructure with its information systems, key information systems, and enhance its cybersecurity level with training red teams and training blue teams to discover attacks and to know the vulnerabilities about it. Talking about industry level SOC services, they are more than about services within the organization. For example, the industry or the government could provide a ready, secure cloud to the organizations of industry with its software, with its platforms secured, and it will be easy to use to deploy your services in this cloud. In Russia, we have the same approach, and we have that government cloud. On the industry level, we can create, it's kind of platform as a service, one of example. We can create the industry secure development center when the organization, for example, is not cannot afford to itself to build the complex DevSecOps process to get the AppSec specialists. So they need some instruments, they need some frameworks and playbooks. How can they create the software within the industry? So the government could create this cloud, could create the instruments and give an access to the developers with all security gates that we need to do to be sure that our software is secure. For example, each industry have specific software which is deployed for the industry. For that purpose, we can create the analysis center when the organization doesn't have AppSec champions or AppSec specialists to check whether its software is secured and have no critical vulnerabilities. So they can export the source code to the government, to the industry SOC center, and give that specialists an ability to analyze the source code and to get the result of it. On industry level, we can create trusted repositories. It's also about development. All of developers are often uses some open source libraries, and for the several last years, we all know that it may contain critical vulnerabilities. To be sure that they are safe, we need to check it. But it could be, we can check one version, but it could be like developers could upload new version with a critical vulnerability. So before using it in our code, we need to have some sandbox where these libraries will be checked. On industry level, it's important to create some educational programs. In this question, we can help you, and we have also an experience with a customer, with the government to work on educational programs with key universities who are growing students in this industry. We can create a service of which will analyze the potential malicious files. For example, if organization couldn't afford the sandbox to deploy sandbox in its infrastructure, we can integrate with the cloud, send these files to the cloud, but be sure that it won't be somewhere in the cloud of vendor. It will be checked in our industry level SOC. And as I talked earlier, that's a good point to create the cyber range to provide some opportunities for cyber testing and maybe for bug bounty programs. There's some intelligence in industry SOC. First of all, it's governance. If an industry, ministry or authority will decide to create a SOC, no one will connect to it, because if there's no law or there's no mandatory requirement to connect to this SOC, why do I need to do that? So we need to work with governance to government should delegate its responsibility and its authority to the lower level, to the industry level, to show that organizations could hear them, and it will be compliant with the government state. For education, Yeah, as I said earlier, we need to work with the universities. We need to grow our specialists because each industry have specific vulnerabilities, have specific threats, and one SOC team, for example, on organization level or governments, can't be experts in all of all type of information systems and all type of components. And it will be good to create industry-specific cybersecurity solutions or IT solutions that could be used in organizations and easy to deploy, like plug and play, as I said earlier. Talking about technologies, the core technology for the industry SOC will be TIP. For CTI sharing will be IRP or SOAR to automate the life cycle of incidents that are collecting from the organizations. It may be CM if we want to, first of all, protect itself, and second one, to get the security events from the organizations. And I showed this separately dashboards because I believe that the best way to show the SLA, show the effectiveness of the industry cybersecurity and show the cyber resilience is to create custom dashboards for the customer. Secondly, when you are dipping in infrastructure of organizations, you need to deploy asset management to get knowledge about infrastructure, vulnerability management to get knowledge about vulnerabilities, and start process continuous threat exposure management. And also some supporting services and cybersecurity services to protect the perimeter of your SOC center. And on the organization side, you may collect only incidents from the existing systems, or at phase 2 and 3, you are collecting the information and you are automating integration with your SOC sensors. In Emirates, there's often story that customers have their infrastructure in the cloud, and how industry can monitor that cloud. The approach is the same. When you are deploying your infrastructure in the cloud, you need to know what vulnerabilities have your information system when you are deploying there. So it's about domain artifact scanning. You need to know that your source code, your information system, has no vulnerabilities on the lower level. You need to check your configuration in the cloud. It's about CSPM systems, Cloud Security Posture Management. For example, you are using some vendor for the clouds. These type of solutions are integrated with API interface of the cloud and checking the configuration, the security policies, checking how your components in the cloud are connected and integrating with each other, checking the security policies of a Kubernetes cluster, and so on. And also, you can use some solutions to execute the behavior analysis of your infrastructure in the cloud. It's about CSB solutions. It's about creating some proxy between your end users and between the clouds to create some to implement some security check-ins. And for the cloud, of course, the industry should provide the standards, and it will be zero trust architecture standards to create the secure by design architecture of your information system.
So that's all for now. If you have some questions, please welcome. And have a nice day. Be secure.